Save big money on your next landscaping project now at Menards. Menards is your destination for concrete landscaping blocks. We have the largest in-stock selection, ready to take home today. Plus, you can get free estimates fast with our landscape design programs in-store and on Menards.com. Stop in today to check out our landscaping options and for great deals going on in our garden center. Now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
The living room is where you make life's most beautiful memories. But your sofa shouldn't be the one remembering them. The new life-resistant, high-performance furniture collection from Ashley is designed to withstand all the spills, slip-ups, and muddy paws that come with the best parts of life. Ashley high-performance sofas and recliners are soft, on-trend, and easy to clean. Shop the high-performance furniture in-store or online at ashley.com. Ashley, for the love of home.
To get the Crime Writers on After Show right now, go to patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie, and this is Crime Writers On. Crime Writers On is the original true crime review podcast that digs into true crime, pop culture, other podcasts. And on this episode, a murder on an ocean liner. A ship full of rich suspects with secrets to hide. Is the crime connected to the world's greatest detective and the old case he could never solve? We'll review the Hulu miniseries. We'll review the Hulu mystery series, Death and Other Details. Joining me to get that done and more is true crime author, TV journalist, and host of These Are Their Stories podcast, my husband, and yes, the love of my life, Kevin Flynn. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Rebecca.
Also with us is private investigator, certified pet detective, resident cat lady, and author of The Final Curtain, the mayor of Exeter, New Hampshire, Laura Bricker.
Hello, Rebecca.
And we should mention, it's a good time to mention, we are taping this show live at the Word Barn in Exeter, New Hampshire.
No one can figure that out.
And finally, our captain of all things cynical, the author of the City Trilogy of novels, host of the Strange Arrivals podcast, and our Patreon Deep Dive Book Club podcast host, Toby Ball. Hello, Toby. Now, Toby, I have something that I have to ask you about.
Sure.
I heard something amazing about you at dinner just before the show.
Okay.
Oh,
I heard that you made a pop culture reference today.
Wow.
To a 1980s sitcom. Is that or is that not true that you made a reference to the show Family Ties?
Oh, yeah.
Now, for those of you who are new to the program, Toby knows no pop culture.
Yeah.
Has seen no films and watches no television. So I was shocked to hear this news. How did this happen?
Yeah, we were talking about, it was people who use typewriters instead of word processors. And there was a movie where the guy who was Mallory's boyfriend at the end of Family Ties.
Oh, that dude. Yeah.
Scott Valentine,
like he was like that guy all the time. Nick. All right. Yeah.
Thank you.
So anyway, he's in this stupid movie, and there's more to the story, but it's not that interesting.
So we can confirm, in fact, that Toby has watched one television show.
Yeah.
This is very, very exciting. I'm very excited about that. All right, so Kevin, this is obviously Monday's program.
It is.
Even though we're not taping it on a Monday. This is how it works in podcast land.
This will be Monday's show, yes.
What is coming up on Thursday's show?
On Thursday, we're going to be talking about the podcast series from iHeart True Crime and TS Studios. It's called Murder 101.
And fans, if you like the episodes of Crime Writers On where we super hate shit, you are going to love. Kevin's head almost flies off his damn body. During that review, it's pretty incredible. So, Laura, question for you.
Yeah.
How has Exeter Lit Fest gone?
Well, I'm going to go the obvious. It's been lit. This 2-day extravaganza has been amazing. We had late night Exeter last night, Exeter Writers After Dark.
How late was that?
Well, it started at 8:30.
Oh, shit.
So for Exeter, that was pretty late night. But
Yeah.
I mean, and there were people smoking in the parking lot, which was also pretty risque for Exeter.
Were they candy cigarettes?
No.
Were they jazz cigarettes?
No, they were real cigarettes.
Oh.
Real cigarettes at the Exeter Lit Fest, but don't tell. And then today was like a whirlwind. You guys were all at the brunch this morning, and many of the people here in our audience were at the brunch. And that was also kind of exciting because, I got there and it wasn't all set up and ready to go. So I got to spring into action.
That's right. Apparently the restaurant thought it was an hour later than it actually was. But Laura, I never would have known you were a total trooper. And for those who don't know, my table totally won the game.
Yes.
So
Yeah. That was super fun. So we had our...
Suck it, Anne, the chocolate lady.
Yeah, so, and then also, since we're in the Get Lit theme here, we had the official cocktail of the Exeter Lit Fest, which I was very excited about. It was called the House of Cran and Fog. Some here in the audience got to sample it today. The folks from Ohio, yes, the folks from Maryland tried it. There was a smoke gun thing, and I totally want one of those now.
It's like a bubble maker, but
It's like
smoke.
a bubble maker.
Sounds like a good idea, Laura.
Well, I'm going to tell you the other good idea of the day that Toby Ball said. Who thought this was a good idea? Exeter Public TV gave me a rolling microphone speaker on wheels. So I am like a street preacher now.
You weren't before? You were totally like before.
But now I was rolling around downtown Exeter with my thing after the brunch, and I was going, it's Lit Fest weekend, it's Lit Fest weekend.
Fantastic. That's what we need. You to be louder. That's amazing. So, Kevin, final question for you before we start the show.
Yeah.
You're returning to the scene of the crime here at the Word Barn.
I know, right?
Was anybody here the last time Kevin Flynn was here at the Word Barn?
Yeah. Oh, people are here.
The people over
Still
there.
scandalized.
Yeah, and you came back. You came back.
Well, they didn't actually have guards at the border not letting me back in
yes.
to Exeter. But Laura Bricker, I found out that for all of my
Okay, for those who don't know, Kevin, last time he was here was at a storytelling event at which he told the most disgusting story in the entire world, totally sexual in nature, and
It was a
shocked
love
the
story.
old people of
It was
Exeter,
about-
New Hampshire.
It was very theatrical. Especially,
Okay,
Yeah.
it involved oral sex.
The
the discussion thereof.
Yes.
Not actual. I
ABC.
would definitely not feel about that.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so what happened, Kevin?
Well, I hear that I no longer hold the record for most scandalous public performance in Exeter. What happened last night?
Well, last night, there I was innocently sitting there when someone started talking about a crucifix dildo. And I was like, Kevin Flynn has been vindicated.
That's right.
now. Kevin Flynn has been vindicated.
And
I
This
that's-
was a poetry reading?
It was a poetry reading. It was in
And
a
what was the
poem.
last line of that poem?
I don't recall. Tell me.
I know what it was.
It was
What was
from
it?
it was from The Exorcist.
It was that one.
It was
Your
not-
mother sucks cock down in hell.
Yes.
No, I said it now.
Yeah.
I guess now I'm still the worst.
Yeah, you're the worst.
I'm still the worst.
You're the worst of the Word Barn, that's for damn sure.
That's right. And then you threw up pea soup over everything.
Okay, speaking of
I
things
know.
that suck, I think maybe we should start talking
We
about
should
the
talk
thing.
about the show.
What do you think?
I know one wants to ask about what happened on my beard.
Oh. Yeah, finally.
I had a shaving accident where I had my electric clippers, and I went to shorten it up, and I didn't have the safety on it. So I went like it's boot camp. Like I just took the big stripe right out of it. So I'm like, well, I guess I have to thin it all out. And then you get to the mustache part, and you take it off, and you realize that as you're getting older, things start to gray, but there are still areas that are still dark black. And then in
The
the
Hitler
mustache,
part is dark black.
the part that you really wish was still not prominently dark.
Yeah.
Just looks on your face like,
Yeah. Kevin came out, he's like, do I look like Charlie Chaplin? I was like, no.
No. I put on a hat and everything. So.
No.
It doesn't immediately spring to mind.
No selfies. No selfies. Okay.
But yeah, I guess we can go on now.
All right. I think it's time to review the thing that we're reviewing. I think we should go ahead and drop that first clip right now. Kevin, what do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, leading off.
Pay attention. Details matter. If you want to solve a crime, any crime, you must first learn to see through the illusion.
Imogene Scott finds herself aboard a luxury cruise ship chartered by the Collier family. The guest list includes powerful friends as well as Chinese investors interested in acquiring their clothing factory. But after setting sail, an obnoxious passenger is killed with a harpoon through his chest.
Last night, Mr. Keith Trubitsky was murdered in his suite. We have taken all the necessary precautions and are briefing the staff in shifts. Our team has increased security throughout the ship to keep all of you and our guests safe from further harm. We're fortunate to have a world-renowned detective on board, Mr. Rufus Cotesworth. He's been asked by Interpol to lead the investigation until we have docked in Palermo.
The murdered passenger was actually Rufus Cotesworth's undercover partner, and the pair were pursuing a lead in the unsolved murder of Imogen's mother. Though she still despises him for dropping the case when she was a child, they agree to team up to learn more about Collier's connection to the enigmatic Viktor Sams.
Viktor Sams is an alias, a smokescreen for an international syndicate that profits by corporate blackmail.
My mom was a secretary.
Intimidation is part of Viktor Sams' MO. If his targets don't pay, he sends them a message.
That's why he killed her?
I could never prove it.
The list of suspects include the retiring tycoon, his heir-apparent daughter and ne'er-do-well son, their greasy lawyer, a business rival, a paranoid spouse, a philandering priest, the governor of Washington, and a crew that includes a sadistic manager and a financially compromised ship owner. But as more bodies pile up, Rufus and Imogene lose control of the investigation to an aloof detective from Interpol.
Agent Hilda Eriksson.
Sunil Bandari, welcome to the Varuna.
Let me guess, Cotesworth kept your VIPs up all night for questioning and tricked you into an interview you didn't agree to.
Yeah, well, how did you...
This should be fun.
Hulu's High Seas Whodunnit, Death and Other Details stars Violett, Beane and Mandy Patinkin. The stylized drama takes the locked room murder format and sets it afloat. Can the pair learn what Danny uncovered that got him killed? Why is Viktor Sams targeting the passengers? And will Imogene discover who was responsible for her mother's death all those years ago? And will we care? Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, we are going to be talking about plot points from Death and Other Details, so if you want to remain spoiler-free, go to the estimated time code in our show notes for our thumbs up or thumbs down reviews. So Laura Bricker, interesting story. Why did you get roped into watching this program?
Well, I was dating this guy for a little bit, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm watching this show. It's really good. You should watch it. And I was like, oh, this might be a bonding thing. So I started watching it, and I was like 2 episodes in. I said, I don't really like this show. It kind of sucks. And he's like, really? And that should have been my first clue.
Yes. Okay, so Toby, there are some tropes, like some tried and true tropes, right, in this show? What were those, and like, did they work for you or not?
Yeah, so it's sort of, I mean, it's trying to be like one of those cozy Agatha Christie things. So you have like the main plot, which is the murder, and then you've got like a zillion suspects, right? And part of it is you have to make it so you can keep track of these suspects. So they have a subplot, which is all about this stupid business deal that's going on, but it kind of lets you sort of separate people into the like mill people and then the Asians who are trying to buy it and then the staff. So then there's all these like little subplots and stuff, and it's all to like try to like create motives and also help you keep track of who the characters are and what the relationships are or whatever. So like in theory, like they kind of set it up well. The problem is that like the plot and all the subplots and stuff, they like almost all suck. So
you didn't like the one of the stowaways down in the boiler room, Toby?
And some of them, yeah, and some of them just don't. They're just. I'm at a loss for words. The idea that there is like a big, like writer's room, like this thing, like clearly had a bunch of people working on it for a while, and the fact that this is the craft they came up with, it's wild, and I could go on, but I will.
I'll give you a chance.
Yeah.
I'll give you a chance. But Kevin, what about the cast? What do you think about the cast?
This is the biggest B and C level cast I think ever assembled.
Mandy Patinkin, Kevin?
Well, okay, Mandy Patinkin's the name you know, but the girl from God Friended Me, or the mom from The Patient, or the middle brother from The Fall of the House of Usher, or the guy that Joan dumped in Mad Men. I mean, it's like, oh yes. I mean, it so badly wants to be a prestige drama, but it just isn't. I mean, if this were done by HBO, it would be on an actual boat. Instead of it being like in front of a blue screen, looking like a goddamn comic book. This hyper-realistic color. I actually want to talk about the color scheme. Like, I actually thought that was kind of cool, but that's the only thing. It just so wants to be something bigger than it is. And, I think Toby, talking about like there was some writer somewhere who like envisioned this.
No.
And, no. Let me finish.
Oh boy.
There's some writer somewhere who envisioned this, put together a proposal, went to the studios, it got shopped around. Someone said yes, development deal. They went and they shot, and they're watching it, and like this guy or this girl's life dream comes to the screen, and they watch it and they say, why does Mandy Patinkin sound that way?
That's what it feels like the morning after 6 whiskey highballs and too much karaoke. Don't forget that. Memory amplifies. Memory diminishes. It is malleable. Memory is a motherfucker.
I mean, like, what kind of British accent is that supposed to be? What kind of accent is that supposed to be?
Yeah.
I just assumed that was him. Like, I didn't have any sense that he was acting at any time in this.
Yeah.
That's when he actually gets really... Yeah, that's true, right?
I mean, Toby, my impression of this, Toby, it's like AI, right?
Yeah.
Watched Succession and Only Murders in the Building and used to have a Fisher-Price boat set as a child.
Yeah.
A big dollhouse.
And it was like, I know, like rich people in cute outfits and a spunky young lady and an old man. Isn't that what it feels like? It's just like it's like a mishmash. I mean, there's style, but
it sounded to me like somebody who'd never ever like seen any piece of culture had like what one of these things was described to them kind of generally, and then they decided to make one themselves but didn't understand anything about the way it worked or what made it good or anything like that.
So it's like describing Avatar to you and having you draw a picture of it.
Yeah, although I hope that given like at least 5 minutes I could come up with something better than this.
But Laura, you don't think it should have been a TV series or could have been done better if it were a different format?
Yeah, I think this is one of those things, like we talk about this a lot in podcasts where we see like a 10-episode podcast series and we're like, this should have been 4 episodes. This should have been a movie. If this had been a movie, this might have been okay. It might have been fun. It's kind of campy. We have a lot of, I liked in the beginning, I felt like the mashup was more like Big Little Lies, White Lotus, Knives Out. Like it had that sort of vibe to it. But at like 10 episodes, that's where it lost me. Like we start off.
Everybody's going like, oh yeah, 10 episodes.
Like 10 episodes. No, like the first 2 episodes were okay. And I was
I agree, yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. It's not this is kind of fun. And then I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. We're still going on here? Like, are you kidding me? Oh, now we've got the refugees down in the boiler room with the horrible accent.
How did you know it was a woman?
She was wearing ladies' shoes. I can see them now. Black with gold spikes.
What was that? Did anybody watch this? The horrible accent was the worst thing I've ever heard.
Which horrible accent?
Oh, the one of the girl that was in the boiler room, and then they put her on. Imogen puts her on the ship, and she's like, I can't do it because I can't do the horrible accent.
Because that would be racist.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Racist against stowaways?
But I mean, the thing is, it was way too long, and the subplots, like Toby said, the subplots were so fucking stupid, and I was like, and also the sex plots. Like, I'm gonna say, Rufus is the only one who didn't have sex in this show.
Thank God.
But I would like to note, Imogen, for all the sex she has, do you notice her hair never moves?
Yeah. That's because it's a wig.
Just saying. I mean, like, good for her. She seems to have a lot of good sex, but her hair is miraculously always the same, beginning and end.
Well, Kevin, what do you think about Violett Beane? Because she is the protagonist of the series, ostensibly.
Yeah. Well, as an actress, I wasn't familiar with her. She's got a very alluring look. I'll say that.
What does that mean, an alluring look?
I don't know,
it's
like
like
her
the Queen's
eyebrows.
Gambit. It's kind of like the Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, right? She's, and she's not bad. I mean, that's not the problem with the the series. But
That's what I've always wanted to do. I want someone to call me like not bad.
Well, that's it.
It's like the apex of my career.
You wish they'd say that. Yeah, so it's like, but who really is the protagonist? Is the lead character Imogene? Or, by the way, is that how you say Imogene? Okay, Imogene. All right.
Didn't you watch the show?
I did, but does anybody here know an
25
Imogene who
hours
goes by
of the
Imogene?
show? Yes, that's how it's pronounced.
I'm asking them.
It's not Imogene, it's
Imogene. Yeah, right, but it's spelled like, anyway, it's Imogene. I know, right?
Dude, you're from a place called Holyoke. That's pronounced Hoyoke. What are you talking about?
Kiss my ass.
We're in Exeter, and it is not Exeter, just in case you knew to know. There's no eggs in Exeter.
Oh, wow.
And just for that, I'm shutting off your microphone. So who actually is like the hero of this show? Is it Imogene? Because she's billed, the actress is billed as the lead. Is it Mandy Patinkin's character, the detective? It's because he's like doing the narration, but I think that it's really her point of view, so it becomes a little incoherent there.
Yeah, no, I don't have a microphone right
I know, because I'm not. You have to apologize first before I turn it back on. Yeah, all right, whatever.
I'm so very
Kevin
sorry.
Nazi does need to mute my microphone when I sneeze. At home, I can mute my microphone when I sneeze.
So, Chubby, could this thing have been fixed? I mean, was there any point in the show where you were like, there were sort of like some games that they tried to play. There were sort of some plots that they tried to do. Was there any point where you were like, this is something that I am intrigued by?
Besides the sex, Toby.
No, that wasn't intriguing either. Yeah, no, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about trying to save this. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I think, like, even, like, the sort of, like, at the most basic level, they do this thing for people who haven't seen it where they have these bizarre scenes where, like, Imogene or Mandy what was his name? Rufus
Cotesworth.
Which always made me think about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, by the way. It's like Rufus.
Wait a minute. As an audience member just pointed out, that was yet another pop culture reference.
Oh, yeah, this is one of my favorite movies. So anyway, but they have Rufus or Imogene just like pop into these like scenes that had happened in the past, and they're like observing things that are going on, which otherwise they couldn't possibly have known. I don't think.
It was called Quantum Leap.
Yeah, it's just like what is going on? Why is this happening?
That's the reason you're here? Because of him?
We get our hands on those books. We get that little girl. The truth she's been waiting for. The truth you promised her.
And if I fail her a second time?
Well, that's the beauty of a reputation. You can only ruin it once.
I like him. Like,
even at the most basic, like, this is the way we're going to tell the story level, it's not good.
Yeah.
And there's not much. I mean, I guess there's like, actually, I don't even know. I'm like,
you don't like the Freaky Friday?
I'm like stammering, trying to come up with something that was good about it.
Yeah.
And a little girl loses her mom might be a good place to start with something, but that's about the end of it.
Yeah, that's the most uplifting part.
Rebecca, can we talk about that weird plot device? Because I think Kevin and I both found that also equally weird.
Which one?
Where, like, it's like, is she psychic? Is she having a flashback? Is she intuitive? Is someone telling her the story? Like, why is she bopping in and out of scenes? It didn't make sense for me.
Yeah.
I don't know, Kevin, I feel like you felt the same way.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Beautiful Mind?
Yeah.
Right, because she goes, it's not like she's just, remembering the things that she saw and it's like pulling back the memory. It's like she's interacting with not only herself and like all of a sudden, I'm going to push open this door so I could see what was behind it because I never knew what was there. But also there are ones where Rufus is there. They're having a conversation in Rufus's office with dead Danny before he's dead. And it's like, how does this all work? Because
and why?
Clearly, we should have dropped like acid before we watched this show.
Yes, that's right.
I think the writers did that.
Speaking of which, Kevin, speaking of the acid, you said you want to talk about the colors in the show a little bit.
Yeah, I think one thing that I actually did admire it for is the visuals that they tried to do stuff with color, with it, and you must have noticed like the use of yellow. right? There's all this yellow. Imogen's got this yellow bathing suit. She's wearing these long yellow pants. Her hair is blonde, the wig. But the yellow seems to really come up in different places, different rooms. Danny's room. It symbolizes innocence or people who are good. Like, that's like the signal when you see that color used. There's blue in the blue dye, how, that's, you see that pop up in a couple of areas. But then you have green, which like the whole boat is green, which is a weird color for a boat. But the green, it like symbolizes, it's everywhere. It symbolizes money and greed. And, if you're like, you're just that greedy, you should just say, join us on Patreon.
Oh, yes.
And
yes. I guess we're in our business section now, Kevin.
We're doing a business section no matter where we are.
Yes, so for folks who don't know, we shamelessly promote the stuff that you should be paying us extra for right in the middle of our podcast, in the middle of the content. So, Kevin, what if I go on our Patreon right now?
Well, if you join us at patreon.com/Partners in Crime Media, like many of you do you not? Yes. You can get some great things. You can get the Crime Writers On after show. Right now on the after show, it's actually, we recorded that part earlier. Rebecca is talking about her new obsession, which is Restaurant Gate. Yes. There was apparently an incident at the local restaurant where someone sent the shrimp back.
That's right.
And it caused a whole kerfluffle.
Huge scandal on Facebook in my tiny town.
On the community forum in
That's
her
right.
town.
Yeah. And we're
It's
not
kind
even
of a leave it to Lavoie.
And we're not even going to get to the donut diner in town.
The food truck wars of Exeter.
Yes.
Who's been following that? Oh, the cupcake versus the diner car.
Now, I can't wait for that to be on a new episode of Leave It to Bricker, which is Laura Bricker's podcast where she investigates mysteries, or at least mysteries to her, in the quaint AF Exeter. And you guys, what do you think about Exeter? Is it quaint AF?
So, next up, the Grange. And the people that took me inside the Grange are in this room today. The Grange is like, they're over there in the back, the two men that took me to the Grange, in a Tesla. It is like the Masons for farmers.
It's the Illuminati of farming.
Illuminati of agriculture.
I am convinced after hearing about the Grange, this is the plot of Dan Brown's next book. Super convinced.
You also can get Toby Ball's Deep Dive Book Club. Toby recently did a review with Chris Joyner, Alex Segura, and Deb Shikuda. And what was the book you talked about?
It's The Assassination of Fred Hampton by
Jeffrey Hess.
Jeffrey Haas.
Haas, okay.
Way to go. We never get the book name right, ever. This is classic.
Usually I'm like desperately like looking it up on Amazon.
he's like, I don't remember the book we're doing. Who wrote it?
Yeah, so it's an interesting discussion. I mean, it was not what we were expecting, and we sort of admired the author, and it was good for some people. But it was it's a court procedural. Anyway, we had a good discussion. The discussion might be more interesting than the book. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. And on May 7th, Toby is going to be recording the next Deep Dive Book Club, and the book is called Among the Bros.
Yes, it is. It is about I think it's about a crime, some kind of crime ring that is run out of a frat at some Southern university.
Oh.
But I have not even purchased it yet, so I'm not too sure about the details.
Toby, one last question. What do you think of the music?
What is this music?
Yeah.
Yeah. I figured it was being piped in by the Word Barn.
Yes, Toby does not listen to our podcast, so all these elements are new to him.
We also have on Patreon, you can listen to Married With Podcast, which is our podcast where Rebecca and I, a married couple, give advice on things like marriage and parenting
and dogs
and things that we are completely unqualified for. We should be like hawking vitamins because we don't even. So you got all that at patreon.com/Partners in Crime Media, and please be sure to sign up for our free newsletter. Go to crimewriterson.com. Just give us your email address. On Thursdays, we will send you the latest Crime Writers On newsletter. It'll have things like Crime of the Week, Pet of the Week, Post of the Week, Toby Ball's deep cut Amazon recommendations, Crime Writers On behind the scenes, and all sorts of other nonsense. So
that's right. It's basically Kevin's diary in newsletter form.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. All right, Kevin, does that end the business section? Oh, my goodness. Woo!
I pressed too many buttons.
Do we do that every time on the podcast?
Sounds just like that every time, Toby. Does thus end the business section, Kevin Flynn?
Thus ends the business section.
All right, you should go ahead and fade that music out right now. So, Kevin, you thought this show could have benefited from better quality sound design?
Yeah, better quality is always better, and that's why I like to shop at Quince.
Ooh, Quince!
Imagine upgrading your wardrobe with luxury essentials at unbeatable prices. Quince is here to transform the way you shop with a range of high-quality items priced within reach. So all Quince items are priced about 50 to 80% less than similar brands, and they partner directly with top factories. So you know what they do? They cut out the middleman and pass the savings on to us.
Why are you talking about this and not me? This is literally one of my favorite places to shop. Okay. I love Quince.
You know who else loves it? It's Laura Bricker. Laura, tell us about the last thing that you got from Quince.
I got my most favorite new prized possession from Quince. I got this really nice black motorcycle jacket, and I am looking forward to wearing it on my little pink scooter as I drive around Exeter this spring. So far, I've just been wearing it around town, getting many compliments, and it really is buttery soft, real leather. It is fantastic.
Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/crime for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
Wow.
That's QUINCE.com/crime to get free shipping and 365-day returns. So if it leap year...
Yeah,
that's right. You're out of luck.
That's right. It's clothes that begin with the letter Q, Alex.
Quince.com/crime.
Hulu and Disney Plus just got a little closer for Disney Bundle subscribers. Because now, the hottest Hulu movies, shows, and originals are on Disney Plus. This is chemistry. Like The Bear, Only Murders in the Building, Abbott Elementary, and of course, Family Guy.
Nothing here but respectful synergy.
Next to your favorites from Disney Plus. For Disney Bundle subscribers, Hulu is now on Disney Plus. Starting at $9.99 a month. All of these and more now streaming. Disney Bundle subscription required. 18 and over only. Select Hulu content available via Disney Plus. Additional content only available via Hulu app. Terms and restrictions apply.
So I kind of want to do something unprecedented right now and ask an audience member to come up with a comment about this show. We discussed this earlier. Robin, would you be willing to come up and give your critique about Death and Other Details? You can use Toby's mic because you had a very astute comment about the show that I think that we should, hear because it's real. This is Robin Brumley, everyone. Hello.
So one of the things I noticed, and let me just clarify, I am not any nautical expert, but I'm pretty sure that the way things work in the maritime world is that the captain on any ship is God. They are in control. They are the senior safety officer, and nothing goes down without the captain being involved. And the fact that we never even once hear the captain's voice on a loudspeaker, making the announcement, please everyone, for your safety, stay in the cabins. Nothing. The Interpol never talks to them. When the generators go down. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say spoilers or anything at this point.
Oh yeah.
No one consults the captain. You're talking to the boat owner. No, that's not how this works, people. It's the captain is the one that should be why is there not a captain character in this show? It seems so unnatural for a boat setting to not have a captain be a major player in making decisions and stuff as the chief safety officer on when a murder has happened.
I agree. It was a glaring omission.
Wow.
We have a bartender. We have masseurs.
Don't you remember Love Boat? Even Captain Stubby.
Thank you very much, Robin. I do think that was a very, very glaring omission.
So that kind of leads into something that at one point when I was trying to figure the show out, Robin, I was like, what is happening with the show? And I was like, this is not really on a boat. This is actually a bunch of rich people who paid to take part in an interactive murder mystery. And somebody didn't actually die. They're actually on some sort of a set somewhere at a fancy inn for the weekend, pretending to be on a boat. So that would make sense as to why there was no captain. Because I was trying to figure out what is actually going on here. And I'm like, maybe this is all just one big mirage.
You know what to say? This is one.
Unfortunately, it wasn't, Toby.
No. You're right. What would have saved this would be one more lame-ass character. This one just being the captain.
But they tried with surprise reveals, right, Toby?
Yes, they did try.
They tried.
That is 100%. I mean, it's, none of the characters are like drawn like sharply enough that doing something out of character necessarily would feel like surprising or anything. So what you're basically, it's just like people. So just the most obvious one is you got like this guy, he's like the head of security. No, he's an international criminal. No, he's actually smuggling Ukrainians from one place to another place. And it's just like, but you don't, I mean, he's just like, he's good looking, I guess. But other than that, like there's really there's nothing, like you don't know anything about his personality. It's that way about just about everybody. I would say maybe Tripp is like the one guy who seems like he's got like more than like a one sentence character description.
Which one's Tripp?
He's the douchey character.
Yeah, he's the
the lawyer who's
the
into
brother. No, the brother.
Oh, the brother. Right.
Yeah, the
who
brother.
snorts coke
You
and
know,
has sex, and his hair also doesn't move.
yeah.
They're all Fisher Price people, basically.
But it is, it's one of those things where usually when you have these kind of reveals, in good things like this, they're earned. And it's like, you're like, oh man, like I can't believe that happened. And in this, it's just like, I don't know anything about this person. Like you've given me like a brief description of him. I've seen him walking around, but whether he's into S&M or he's, whatever, like it doesn't, you're not shocked by anything because like anything could happen because you don't know who these people are.
So I was gonna say, and also Toby, like you're not invested in anybody. Like I found myself rooting for nobody on this. The character I related to the most, that I was like, oh, is 14-year-old that Derek, the TikTok star. Just I was like, that Derek, that's a believable character. I can get behind that Derek. He's out there with his selfie stick, but like you're not invested in anybody because of the way they wrote these characters. I'm like, I don't care what happens to any of these people.
And then like that Derek. Like he's just like as soon as you see him, it's like okay. At some point, he's going to pick up something on his camera because otherwise, he doesn't have any part to play in this. It's just like that's the only reason why he's there. And it's the same thing with the Ukrainian refugee. It's just like she doesn't have anything to do, so she crawls around in the air vents, and then she ends up being in an air vent like right where somebody's being murdered. It's like
how convenient, Toby.
So it's it's just
Toby.
These are the kind of things where if you have like 6 professional writers in a room, you're supposed to be like, let's think about this for 15 minutes and come up with like a clever way for this to happen. And instead they're like, well, they'll walk out and you'll be hiding and then you put your foot in the door so the door doesn't shut and lock and then you can sneak into their room. And it's like, I mean, I'm sure I've worked in offices where the doors lock when you let them close. There's no freaking way somebody would have been able to like hide and put their foot in the door as I walked away without me noticing. I mean, and it's
you give yourself too much credit.
That's true.
I will say, though, Toby, you did make one note about something that you very much enjoyed.
Oh, yeah, there's an extended Styx karaoke scene.
Yes.
Where they do Come Sail Away. There's no show that couldn't benefit from a long Styx karaoke scene, in my opinion.
I mean, if you don't have long Styx karaoke, you may as well just hang it up, right?
Yes. Well, this one, certainly.
So was anybody here at all surprised? And this is deep spoilers, by the way. We're not recommending, obviously, that you watch this. So was anybody surprised at the reveal about Imogen's mom? Anybody?
I wasn't because you said it.
Oh.
You picked it up.
I picked it up, like, immediately.
Someone surprised.
Rob Bergen was surprised.
Who?
Rob Bergen. I heard Annette's voice. Rob was surprised?
Up in the balcony?
Huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I mean, it almost ended your marriage. Your marriage is like...
We watched it with Laura. Laura was in her house. We're in our house. We're telling each other we're watching it. Like episode 1, I'm on episode 2. We're catching up. We went ahead of her. She was behind us. Then we got to certain points and we're like, we couldn't talk to each other.
Oh.
Then we had to talk.
You cared that much about this shit.
We had to talk to each other because I couldn't talk to Laura, so we're talking to each other about it. And then
you realize we have the microphones and it's our podcast, right?
She said she could edit things out.
that's true. That's true. That's actually Kevin's job, by the way, this week.
Yeah. That's all right. That's all right.
It is extremely alluring that way. So, Laura, did you guess any of the plot points that were coming up or not?
I guess I wasn't really like paying. When I checked out after like episode 3, I was just.
So no, it's a no.
No, I didn't, because I was just kind of like, well, this is kind of like nice background while I'm sitting here with my cats.
What did you think when it transitioned from a ship suddenly to a ski slope?
Okay, I would like to say.
After they blew up the ship.
After they blew up the ship, I always like to say I thought that the ship thing was pretty fake, but the ski slope was probably the most fake skiing scene I have ever seen. And like when they're like skiing down together and they're like, oh hey, oh hey, oh hey. It's like hi
Mom.
Like what was that like Doublemint gum commercial? Like that's kind of what it's like.
Kevin, what did you think about the end of the show?
Well, I mean, it was just super far-fetched to begin with that Viktor Sams, the brilliant corporate blackmailing mastermind, was the former secretary to this one guy who apparently was able to, while on the run underground, accumulate so much wealth that she could have a giant boat that's just her computer server farm at sea, that when they need to blow it up, they can just do that. Like, I'm going to get a couple of helicopters and I'll put on a fake Belgian accent or Swedish accent and I'll pretend to be Interpol. Because apparently I need to do that now that I was spotted earlier on playing a staff person. If it weren't for that darn TikTok kid, blew the whole case over. Anyway, I'm just saying, I forgot, what was the fucking question?
She was also a dominatrix. That was like the other whole thing. I did feel bad for that guy. I will say, I wasn't invested in any character. I did feel bad for the guy who got burned and
the dude from Deep Space Nine who got burned,
caught on fire, jumped overboard, died. I felt bad for that guy.
Not me. He liked it.
He liked it.
I think
he was into it.
Painful.
So wait, I just want to ask one final question. Toby, I saw you made the same note. Am I confused, or were we supposed to feel bad for the rich people in this show? Like, are they the victims of this?
Yeah, that was the thing at the end. I was like, okay, what just happened? And like at the end, it's like the person who's trying to expose the rich people's greed and immorality and all this stuff, they're actually the bad person. The person you're supposed to feel bad for are these like super, super rich people who like one of them lost had to sell their mill for like hundreds of millions of dollars or something.
That was horrible.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah, it's rough. And there's other people who bought the mill. And but it's like, all right, so the super rich people were supposed to feel bad for it, and then this woman who was like, had to go on the lam for all this time, like she's the one who's I don't know. The whole thing seemed like the whole rest of it just didn't make much sense to me.
Plot holes. But did anyone ask like why undercover Danny got this invitation for a free luxury cruise because he might invest money in Tripp's adventure that we never really find out about?
I thought that was tied to the world's greatest detective, Rufus Cotesworth.
The world's greatest detective.
The world's greatest detective.
As they keep saying.
I like his name though, Rufus Cotesworth. I mean, that's a good name. But I felt like it was tied to that. Like I felt like it was part of like he was there with Rufus under the cover of having been invited by Tripp. That's what I thought.
I just want to say something.
The guy who's dressed up like John McEnroe the whole time.
I'll just say one thing. Just like with podcasting, right? Mm-hmm. You don't get to be the world's greatest detective just by fucking saying you're the world's greatest detective.
He didn't say it. He was always like, no, not my words. Not my words. I don't know what the accent was. It was.
I would like to say I'm the world's greatest cat detective.
That's true.
And I've said it now.
Yeah,
it
everybody's
is true.
agreeing. Yes.
All right.
World's greatest cat detective.
That's right.
Exeter.
But I think what happened is that somebody saw Knives Out and they said, oh, this is the formula, locked door mystery with a quirky detective, and that is not Mandy Patinkin's character. But imagine for a second, not that it would make it better, but he's just completely miscast as this character. Imagine if it were like, not that they would ever get this, but like a legit British actor, like Hugh Grant.
Why couldn't they get Hugh Grant? He just played an Oompa Loompa, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, right. But if you had like somebody who was, sort of exuded a British posh, or even just, that guy's actually from Britain. It's not the guy from Criminal Minds, and, Che Guevara from Evita from the 80s, and Kevin just thought he was a dirty radical. I didn't know anything about it. But I just feel like it would have been a little bit. I don't know if it would have resonated a little better, but he's just like completely miscast. And he's supposed to be the Benoit Blanc, but he's just not as interesting a character.
So it would have only sucked like 98% if you had somebody better.
They thought about like who might be this guy. You would actually think like, oh, he is the lead. But they kept bouncing back and forth. Really, like, who was the lead in this?
Well, it's amazing that with all these like models you have of these sort of eccentric, brilliant detectives. I mean, there's like a zillion of them, starting with Sherlock Holmes or whatever. And he's honestly got zero personality. Like, really, what do you know? He wrote a book.
He writes in code, Toby.
He writes in code that a freaking 10-year-old can crack in 5 minutes. And then she does it again, like while a bomb is ticking.
She's a genius, Toby. She's an intuitive psychic genius.
Yeah,
she can travel to your thoughts.
She just pops up in those little things.
Hulu and Disney Plus just got a little closer for Disney Bundle subscribers. Because now, the hottest Hulu movies, shows, and originals are on Disney Plus.
This is chemistry.
Like The Bear, Only Murders in the Building, Abbott Elementary, and of course, Family Guy.
Nothing here but respectful synergy.
Next to your favorites from Disney Plus. For Disney Bundle subscribers, Hulu is now on Disney Plus. Starting at $9.99 a month. All of these and more now streaming. Disney Bundle subscription required. 18 and over only. Select Hulu content available via Disney Plus. Additional content only available via Hulu app. Terms and restrictions apply.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Okay, let's do what we do. Let's let our listeners know, should they check out Death and Other Details on Hulu? Laura Bricker, what do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down for Death and Other Details?
I mean, I'm definitely going thumbs up on this. Just kidding. I love always going first. So, yeah, you know what? This is a thumbs down. And I will say, I don't mind these sort of like campy fun, like over stylized shows. I think that what this struggled from was being 10 episodes. And because it was 10 episodes, this plot just got so fucking confusing. We had so many characters we couldn't keep up with. We had so many stupid subplots. We didn't have any main character for me that I felt super invested in. And so as a result, the beginning, like the first 2 episodes, like, oh, this is going to be super fun. And then I was just like, So, thumbs down.
Toby Ball.
Yeah, so I think these...
Toby Ball is also a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, so I think these things kind of rise and fall based on how clever they are. It's like clever plotting, clever twists, clever ways of finding clues, all these things. And it just, it wasn't there, right? I mean, there's nothing about it that made you go, oh. So, yeah, it was just super long and super disappointing. And I feel, again, it's like Mandy Patinkin's the name. I can't name one other thing he's ever been in, but his name keeps coming up.
We just named 3 like 5 minutes ago.
What was it? He was in Evita? Is that what you're saying?
He was in Homeland.
He was in, I did...
The Princess Bride.
Haven't seen Princess Bride. Haven't seen Homeland.
Who was in the Princess Bride?
Oh my God! So
I told you guys.
The Goonies, now this.
Every fucking week. We learn a new thing that Toby has not seen.
I would like to say, I had no electricity until the age of 18, and I have seen The Princess Bride.
You're like a little bit younger than me. I think I aged out. Yeah, so anyway... Supposedly he's a good actor. I don't know what. I mean, he's horrible.
His accent was better in The Princess Bride.
Wait till Toby hears him sing. He's going to be amazed.
Like it's not often that you can watch something and be like, okay, this guy completely phoned it in, and it felt like that's what he did. I don't know. I don't even know how long I've been talking at this point, but it's a thumbs down.
Kevin Flynn, thumbs up or thumbs down for Death and Other Details?
I have to go thumbs down. It just...
You have to?
I have to.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure. I was going to go thumbs up, but, I don't want... Can I just ask, can I poll the audience, thumbs up or thumbs down? Who's a thumbs up? Everyone's down.
I think that guy up there kind of liked it.
Yeah, there's a... Are there...
Yeah, there we go.
There's a thumbs sideways.
He was riveted. He was calling Laura Bricker every
Rob
week.
Bergen was thumbs up. He was into it.
Yeah, there was, I know, a thumbs up there. Okay. So, yeah, I have to go thumbs down. It tried to be something bigger, but I think probably just didn't have the money to do what it needed to do, like A, rent a boat, B, or B, get a cast of people that could act, or you're like, oh, I'd be interested in them, not the girl from God Friended Me, or who is the villain in Flash.
Good Lord, Kevin. You've seen all these things?
I'm just saying, do a deep dive.
No, he has a thing called IMDb.
No. I had to look at it.
You do outside research?
Yeah, outside research. Yeah, it just it didn't really ring. The first 2 episodes is like, okay, this could be kind of good, but everything kind of really got forced. It's like it needs a bunch of twists and turns, and I really didn't get Force Ghost Imogene, where she could just kind of like Obi-Wan, just appear in people's memories and dreams, and that just seemed like really what the rules of this universe were kind of unclear. But even if they hadn't been, the mystery itself, really kind of fizzled. It wasn't very interesting, and it's unfortunate because it would have been, I think, really good. And the fact that they set it up for, that makes a lot of noise, Laura Bricker.
I'm sorry.
Right next to your microphone.
I'm sorry, I'm mixing a custom drink.
Jesus.
You're mixing 2 bottles of water.
Every week.
I'm mixing them 2 bottles of water.
This is lemon perfect water.
All right.
Mixed with Polar Springs water.
So, where was I?
Why don't you start from the beginning, Kevin?
Yeah, by the way, they set it up for a great season 2, but it got canceled, so there will not be a season 2. And that's appropriate. Thumbs down.
Yeah, I'm also a thumbs down, and I just think any show where they have to say, he's the world's greatest detective 100 times, and she's a genius 100 times, and he's a great businessman, and she's an amazing governor. Like, they have to tell us, like the exposition is literally introducing characters. Look at that person. Look at that person. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's like the sex scenes are the least sexy sex scenes. Like, there's just nothing about this show that doesn't feel completely crafted. It's weirder than watching that Kate Middleton on the bench video. It's like a little bit weirder than that. I'm looking for the computer that made it, like, every minute that I'm watching it. And I just felt myself thinking, like, what is the point? A couple of episodes, 1 or 2 episodes, I fell asleep while I was watching it, and I was like, Kevin, what happened? And he was like, I don't know. So yeah, thumbs down for me for Death and Other Details. All right, now it's time for my favorite part of the podcast, a little something I like to call the Crime of the Week. Nice job, Kevin. It wasn't Oxford's crew team that smelt up the water during their recent loss to Cambridge. They blame the high level of human waste floating in the Thames. The rowers say they've been training on a river overflowing with sewage. It reeks and is also, bonus, filled with E. coli. It's been making the athletes sick to their stomachs and vomiting before races. The team has been advised to keep their mouths closed, not splash so much, and definitely not throw the coxswain into the water after the mash. Officials say the amount of sewage spilled into the Thames doubled last year, and it's not just the wastewater. Boaters can see wet wipes, sanitary products, and feces floating at the surface.
Isn't feces wastewater?
The government and environmentalists are pressuring the industry to clean up their act. Torrential downpours can overwhelm the combined drainage system, creating an overflow of sewage, but it shouldn't be happening during a normal rainfall. The Oxford crew team isn't blaming their crappy performance against Cambridge on the water quality, but say throwing up and getting splashed with shit has not helped their training. So, panel, this is a real shitty situation. What other challenges will this crew team face? Laura Bricker, what do you think?
I mean, number one, at least they're on a real boat. I don't know. I mean, flesh-eating bacteria?
Oh, that would be excellent. Toby Ball, what do you think other challenges this crew team will face?
I did not prepare for this. Brexit.
Kevin Flynn, what other challenges will this crew team face?
Wiping off their oars.
Oh, yes. All right. Laura Bricker, if folks want to reach out to you on social media and learn more about your cat detective business, how can they find you there?
They can find me at Laura Britter. Excuse me. And see, that's it. Brexit Bricker. They can find me at Laura Bricker on Instagram and Twitter. It will always be Twitter.
Toby Ball, how can you be found online?
At Toby Ball NH.
Kevin Flynn, how can you be found?
I'm at Kevin P. Flynn.
And if you want to follow me everywhere, Twitter and Instagram, where I post pictures of my dogs almost every day, you can find me at Reb Lavoie. You can also follow the show everywhere at Crime Writers On, including on YouTube, but I encourage you mostly, I suspect some of you here are there. Join our amazing community in our official Crime Writers On Facebook discussion group. We also have a regular old Facebook page. Just go there, find the pin post, join the group. We'll let you in if you don't seem like an asshole. Get episodes early and ad-free at patreon.com/Partners in Crime Media. You'll also get the Crime Writers On After Show, Married with Podcast, Laura Bricker's Leave It to Bricker podcast, and Toby Ball's Deep Dive Book Club podcasts. Our theme song was composed and performed by Ty Gibbons. Our line editor is the terrific Livy Burdett. The executive producer of this program is Kevin Flynn. This show was recorded in front of a live audience at the Word Barn in quaint AF Exeter, New Hampshire, and not in the closet in our New Hampshire basement, where we also speak in vaguely unidentifiable British accents. On behalf of all the crime writers, thanks so much for listening. We will catch you later. Does anybody here a drag along for someone else who came who is a fan of the show? Oh. Yes. Does anybody here identify as Toby adjacent?
No, yeah, well.
Yeah. Yeah. I was really upset, though, because I was hoping, but I guess it was too late. I was going to ask Kevin to queue up and put it in the board, but it only can fit so many things. But I was going to be like, maybe we could do like a callback and put in the karaoke track for Love Shack. But I guess it was too late for that. I don't know. Oh, shit. There it is. I don't know if you guys remember it. Go ahead, Kevin. Take it away.
If you see a faded sign at the side of the road that says 15 miles to the
Love Shack! There we go. I know. Take it down. All right, so that wasn't so bad.
No. It's better than being on a fake ship in the ocean.
Partners in Crime Media.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing.
But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.